Welcome to my world. Wow, I got some issues here. Hold on. I did not do my visual check. Hey, a little bit behind the scenes. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Watch and be amazed at how he makes this disappear. Ooh, it's on this side. All right, hold on. Watch this. Watch this, ladies and gentlemen. Watch as the evidence of the machine disappears and the factitious void returns. Yes. Oh, no. We got this. Hee-haw! There we go. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you got to see the factitious void. I don't know why I pressed the record button there, but I'm going to unrecord that. Well, I don't need to record that segment. Now, judging from the messages that I'm getting, this could be a very uneven flow as far as my live streams are concerned. It could very well be that one of my biggest problems with getting my live streams going is, I don't know, I might have to figure out a better connection. I have a pretty decent connection, but who knows? Maybe we are in such a state, Why am I not in the shot? Everything is up in smoke, lads. Up in smoke. Up in wee smokes. I have an interesting dialectical for you tomorrow. I ended up with something I just kind of stumbled upon some stuff, and I got an interesting dialectical for you folks tomorrow. But that doesn't happen today. What happens today is we push on with the show. And before we get on with the show, I don't know how many of you will see this. I don't know, but brace yourselves. Uh-oh. Hold on. This is not right. Hold on. Ready? Brace yourselves.
Warning, the material you're about to be exposed to is foreign to the minds of individuals who are limited in their capacity to understand the actual reality of power around them, just as you and everyone else alive and young. What you're about to hear are opinions, suppositions, like gospel or scientific truths, not infallible certainties. Brace yourself for incoming opinions that could confirm or deny your preferential view of the reality of power. Brace yourself for fallible material, fallible opinions, and values reflected, but nonetheless variably firmly held. We do not apologize to anyone we met. We do not apologize for daring to express our views and impressions of what we believe is and what we hope to see. We will keep talking so long as we are able.
And now, Freeqo attempts to talk about the news without freaking out.
That's the plan, ladies and gentlemen. My plan is to bring to you the news in a non-freak-outy kind of way, and be able to. Right now, you look above there, above the quarter housings. There we go, the quarter housings. Let's just call it the quarter housings. Let's just go with that. 9 shows since Freeqo last freaked out. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, 9 whole shows. We're going for 21. 21, we tie the record. 22, we destroy the previous Freeqo. This is current Freeqo, whichever Freeqo was. Well, the current Freeqo is whichever is in the midst of the streak. So the streak right now is current Freeqo. And by the way, I'm probably going to be best Freeqo. Probably. Although the next Freeqo will say that. I'm sure. Whatever. You know what? History ends here. The end of history. After my reign, there will be no other reigns. I am Freeqo forever. The streak is going on forever. I'm never breaking it. I might today, though. So, I might have a short Freeqo life ahead of me. This is Freeqo Talks the News, ladies and gentlemen. Brain Organoid Symphony for the People. That's the title for today's show. Freeqo Talks the News for Wednesday, May 20th, 2020. Are we getting ready for Housepocolypse 2.0? Fun, fun, fun! Fake windows bring the day to the dark. The medical case for physical gender could save women's lives. And finally, well, no, not finally. What are you saying finally for? You jumped the gun, son. You jumped the gun, son. You know what? You might be replaced this version before this show's even over. Even if you don't freak out, the new Freeqo might arrive. That's not fair. That's not fair. I'll get it right. I won't make another mistake, I promise. The medical case for physical gender could save men's lives. Hi. How y'all doing? The medical case for physical gender could save women's lives. Mr. Bell's brain organic symphony, Sentient, Metronome. That's a news poem for today. And finally, our dialectical is going to be Where Islam Promotes Libertarianism. The Somaliland Declaration. That's right. I said that sentence. Get the Freeqo Talks Daily delivered to your email at freeqo.com/daily. Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, and theys and all of the individuals who count themselves blessed to hear this voice. Let me say to you in the here and now, we're about ready to record the talk headlines. So let's get this cans figured up here in 3, 2, whoops, hold on. 3, 2, 1. These are the talk headlines for Freeqo Talks the News on Wednesday, May 20th, 2020. My name is Freeqo with Freeqo.com. Get the Freeqo Talks Daily delivered to your email at Freeqo.com daily. Are we getting ready for Housepocolypse 2.0? Inquiring minds want to know. Remember that? Remember those? Inquiring minds want to know. National Enquirer. Is Lady Di about ready to give birth to a lizard again? Inquiring minds want to know. Well, this is from a site that's kind of got the same kind of journalistic reputation as National Enquirer, but that doesn't mean that, like I said, you can't find truthful things even in some of the most horrific of places. Daily Kos is definitely one of those bottom-dwelling, scraping at the barrels, scraping at the sores, the raw sores that it helped create. Every time a scab starts to heal, it comes along and picks it back out and throws some more salt and whatever virus is around into it. But again, doesn't mean I can't find things there that are true, that are useful to know. So here we are. Manipulation of commercial mortgage funds could lead to another collapse. Heatherich Vogel at ProPublica writes, whistleblower. Wall Street has engaged in widespread manipulation of mortgage funds. ProPublica is definitely highly partisanized, but they have more, I'll say definitely a lot more journalistic credibility with me than Daily Kos. Which is one of the reasons why I ended up using the Daily Kos. And this is what they've quoted from here. Among the toxic contributors to the financial crisis of 2008, few caused as much havoc as mortgages with dodgy numbers and inflated values. Huge quantities of them were assembled into securities that crashed and burned. Hold on. There we go. That's better. I forgot to change themes, and I need to do that, ladies and gentlemen. So, huge quantities of them were assembled into securities that crashed and burned, damaging homeowners and investors alike. Afterwards, reforms were promised. Never again. Never again. Never again eventually becomes what numbers? In so many ways. It happens. What numbers? Now, that's not. Come on. Have you ever done the math on how many? That's usually how it goes. Never again would real estate financiers be able to fudge numbers and threaten the entire economy. 12 years later, there's evidence something similar is happening again. Some of the world's biggest banks, including Wells Fargo and Deutsche Bank, as well as other lenders, have engaged in a systemic fraud that allowed them to award borrowers bigger loans than were supported by their true financials, according to a previously unreported whistleblower complaint submitted to the Securities and Exchange Commission last year. And I can't remember that word. Remember that one word we had up a few days ago? That debentures or whatever. It's this type of loan that they're able to give out. And well, now those loans are being secured by the federal government. This is, I think, what we're talking about here. So this is another heads up, ladies and gentlemen. Just some stuff going on there. Just nothing to see here. Nothing to see. Just stuff. America leads again in investment markets. This is an excerpt from windpowermonthly.com. U.S. leapfrogs China as top investment market. For the first time in its twice yearly rankings, EY factored in the strength of markets' healthcare systems, the size of their population that it's at risk based on demographics and their economic vulnerability as key indicators of a market's resilience against the coronavirus. Countries that are still marked on energy policy, project pipeline, and investment climate. EY expected the global renewable sector to recover after a short-term slowdown caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Did I say COVID-19? I'm sorry. Coronavirus pandemic. But warns it will be uneven between the markets. The U.S. leapfrogged mainland China into the top spot for the first time since 2016. This was due to the short-term extension to its production tax credits support scheme and the prospect of long-term growth in its offshore wind sector. EY anticipates $57 billion will be invested to develop up to 30 gigawatts of offshore wind in the U.S. by 2030. U.S. rockets ahead. Rockets ahead. Rockets ahead! I'm sorry, I was a little bit. We're talking about the wind market. The wind, and China was actually really it is kind of significant to note. And I'm happy to see it. Happy to see it. Not because I'm happy for the U.S. to be number one per se, but that the U.S. is investing more in general is what I'm happy to see. I don't need any of the jingoistic number one and number two stuff. So long as if China's investment is larger than ours and it fits the fact that they have 1.3 billion and we have 300 some billion, I think I'd be like, okay, well that kind of makes sense. Okay. Small robots make small farms possible. This is an excerpt from therising.co. This professor wanted to make farming more sustainable, so he started a company to build a fleet of small robots. I love just... You got to make this heroic. This is like, he's a superhero. This is like, I was trying to read like a comic book hero thing. It's kind of this what this guy is. The trickiest part about the current agricultural system is its codependency on the tractor. According to Chowdhury, the two aren't separate entities. For him, this begs the question, by using smaller equipment, could farming be done in a fundamentally different and more sustainable way? Apparently, yes, if we bring in the robots. But I'm totally pro this, by the way. When robots are deployed on farms, they can perform tasks such as weeding and monitoring crop health, providing farmers with much-needed insights about treating diseases in crops and killing weeds with remarkable precision. For Terra Sentia, Earth Sensor's first robot, it uses several different sensors to do these tasks. By the way, I've seen these things where you can get these robot, basically these robot thingies that go along these grid thingies, and you can have like a pretty cool farming system, hydroponics even farming system, where this thing's going around doing the essentials down your garden that's divided into these grid thingies. I'm talking about small scale stuff, but like very useful for folks having highly effective gardens without having to be the gardening experts. All they have to do, the little thing will tell them, I need more nutrients. Please fill nutrient tray with appropriate nutrient devices. Here are nutrient devices. And the nutrient devices should be something that's native, that's easy for them to get, that they could easily put into the machine and it can convert it to whatever it is, whether it's human poop or your mom's weekly animal carcasses that she gets from driving the way she does, and you collect the roadkills. That was terrible. I went a long way for a terrible joke that didn't have it had a punchline, but it was a terrible punchline. It wasn't even a punchline. That went nowhere. These are the things you do, folks, when you do things in the unedited sphere where you're not going to cut things out. You always risk taking that step out where you're looking out and you're like, this looks like a funny spot. All right, I'm going to just venture out a little. And then you find yourself like, oh, crap, wait a second. But I got to keep going. If I keep going, at least there's still hope. But if I keep going, I risk... and you just go and you do it, and that's what you do. So you got to be willing to crash and burn to do it the way I do, and you got to hope and pray that nobody notices. And when you do crash and burn, make sure you don't tell. Gosh, I'm still learning. I'm getting it. I'm coming closer to being the greatest podcaster of all time. Pretty close. So by the end of next week's slate of shows. So basically, when I do the show, the first day of the 9th week, that's the first show that I can say, this is it, folks. This is the best podcast you're ever going to hear. And the next one after that, same thing. The next one, etc. And then in another 4 weeks, then that's when everything. And by the way, on that note, just so everybody notices, what happened? I told you 6 weeks ago, almost 7 weeks ago. It'll be 7 weeks this. Well, it'll be 7 weeks this Monday. 7 weeks ago, this Monday coming up is what it'll be. So 6.5, whatever odd weeks. I told you that I was going to be the greatest podcaster of all time in 12 weeks. I'm going to start a project, 12 weeks. At the end of 12 weeks, going to be the greatest podcaster all time. By the end of the 8th week, I was going to be the greatest podcaster of all time in terms of actual ability and what I deliver. And by the 12th week, by the end of the 12th week, it would be recognized. And what happens? A little bit over halfway through, I think that, and it makes sense because it probably took him 6 weeks. Joe Rogan solved for show on the first show, even though it had horrible audio and it doesn't exist anymore. I believe he's an algorithm out there. He probably Spider Sense knew. He's like, I sense a disturbance in the podcasts. I sense a disturbance in the podcast. Yeah, I sense a greatness that's rising. I feel like 12 weeks tops. That's being conservative. I gotta, you know what? Call Spotify. They set that stupid offer. All right, tell them, listen, let's throw out a figure. Let's just throw out a ridiculous figure. Let's see if they take it. If they take it, fuck it. Let's just go. Because get the fuck out of here before the getting. We can always use the excuse. Listen, man, we took the money. We knew we were going to take a hit. It's understandable why he's the greatest of all time now. We bow out in a way that we don't have to say those things. Okay? So we bow out in a way we listen, he got his thing. I made my cash. I'm fine. That's what I say. So let's say 100 mil. If they say yes, we're going to Spotify. And then that happens. And Cheld Harthy here, this gentleman who took it upon himself to build himself a little empire of robots for the small farmers. This is just another example. Now these robots now they can get smaller and smaller. You can have robots that are right there out in the fields. They don't have to go back to anywhere. They got like little holding places where you put these little small robots that go out regularly. You got robots that are trained to go out and look for rodents. So all they got to do is scare rodents off. That's all. They don't have to hurt rodents. They just scare them off. Just shoot out a little burst of fire or something. Nothing that'll hurt them. Just nothing. Whoa, what the? Whoa, what kind of magic voodoo you got going on there? Getting out of here. You know, that kind of thing. You can have yourself highly farms that are as efficient as the biggest farms. And again, it's empowering individuals. And I'm liking the phrase consensual associations. Consensual associative structures to emerge. That's what it will encourage. Because now we can, once again, at smaller scales, in places right here where we live, we have more direct accountability, more direct customizations of our particular local needs. So all of those factors being equal, it's better for us, certainly. We poors, most assuredly, it is better for the decentralization of the growing and providing of foods to make them small-scale enterprises once again. And stuff like this opens up the door. So there you go. I got through the headlines, and I did. I really want to get to the point where I get these things down to maybe 12 minutes per segment. 12 to 15 minutes, somewhere around there per segment. And then sometimes going in, I'm like, no, this is going to be a 30-minute segment, and I'm okay with that. But anyway, that's it. That's the end of this. Coming up next is the talk feature, and the talk feature is Fake Window brings. What's that bring there? Fake Window. Let's scroll on up here so we can see. There we go. Fake Window brings the day to the dark. That's what's coming up on the top feature. And don't forget to tip your Freeqo. Go to Freeqo.com tips, or just go to Freeqo.com, find the big button that says give Freeqo all of your money. If you're a gazillionaire. Not if you're not a gazillionaire. If you're not a gazillionaire, give me $1 or $2 or $5. But if you're a gazillionaire, trust me, I'll do good by it. I'll do good things with it. Subjectively speaking, of course, subject to approval. by the internality of my own mind. Whew, let's get ready for the next segment. Rocking in and along here, ladies and gentlemen. Rocking in along. Ended up starting a little bit late because of an issue that has to do with scheduling, and well, it's a long story, but it was a Streamlabs issue, not a Freeqo issue, because the Freeqo was lined up and ready, and then something happened. Could not have been foreseen. So I'm a little bit bothered by that, but I'm gonna soldier on. Let's get to the talk feature. Let's do that right now. Let's line this up so we get that little advertisement in there in this video. Let's do that in 3, 2, 1. This is the talk feature for Freeqo Talks the News on Wednesday, May 20th, 2020. My name is Freeqo with Freeqo.com. Our talk feature today is Fake Windows Bring the Day to the Dark. Before we get to the story, make sure that you get your Freeqo's Daily Freaks. Just enter your email and click subscribe. Go to Freeqo.com and scroll, and you'll find a couple of these iterations. Then enter your email and hit subscribe and become part of our growing empire of freaks. Nobody. I have 79 subscribers right now, by the way. Thank you, 79 subscribers on the email list. This news comes with a video from the company that designed the product. Windows for indoors, Windows for underground, fake windows with real light, and it can also simulate the day's cycle of light. The company is Samsung, and the uses for this window could eventually lead to, I'm going to say, real. Subjectively speaking, real. According to whatever the metaphysical construct of the day defines real as being. Eventually lead to real windows that also have the capacity to share sunny daylight on gloomy, rainy days. Also, gloomy, rainy days on sunny daylight. Nighttime, daytime. All of the wonderful configurations that you could potentially have built in. And in addition to that, although not in this, but because based on other stories, in addition to that, windows that are also contributing at least significantly towards the solar part of the power that powers your home and your life. This is from The Verge. Samsung spin-off startup making fake windows that generate artificial sunlight. That's just racist to call it fake windows, though. I don't know how, but I feel like these windows, who made these windows? I would need to know. Was this a disenfranchised group in any way, shape, or form that made these windows? Because if so, I feel like there's some dog whistling going on here. Stop it. That's not even funny. It's going to be funny in 5 years. Probably. Don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. Whoa. Oh, that was a Samsung thing. Oh, no. Oh, new Samsung. Let's go here. Let's see what they say. What's Samsung news? What I'm saying. Samsung Electronics announces that it will support 5 startups that were created by Samsung's employees, and one of them is this here. Here we go. Sunny 5. Sunny 5, a window-shaped lighting device that produces artificial sunlight, allowing the user to enjoy the full spectrum of light produced by the sun's natural passage through the skies during the day. Helps users synthesize vitamin D while they are indoors or in low-lit places without having to worry about skin aging or sunburn, and allows for brightness and color adjustment via the app. And it allows for human beings to live indoors and not be bothered by the poop of the world out there. You never know how authoritarian police are if you never leave your house. Not that they are authoritarian, I'm just saying if they were, you wouldn't know. Because I'm a decent human being. I allow for the potential that human beings are decent as well. Even human beings with badges. I allow for that potential in all human beings. In every single human being. Except for Dallas Cowboys fans. That's different. That's the one area in my life in which all of my nobility and consensuality, such as I may or may not possess it, goes out the door. And I think that you Dallas Cowboys fans understand, because I'm an Eagles fan, and we all understand. We understand this is like primitive kind of real archetypal primitive kind of stuff that we're feeding into here, folks. We can't cross these streams ever. Anyway, this, on the other hand, the latest crop of startups backed by Samsung's in-house incubator C-Labs includes Sunny 5, makers of an artificial window that supposedly delivers all the benefits of natural sunlight. Supposedly, how dare you? Get Thunderfoot on the case. When I read this by some of these stories, I should start thinking, okay, this is a Thunderfoot thing. I want Thunderfoot to crush my spirits or lift them up. Look into Sunny 5. Get Thunderfoot to look into Sunny 5. As long as he speaks about this stuff and doesn't try to pretend that he knows anything about politics, because he's every bit as myopically partisan and factional as the groups that he imagines that he's battling. But in this sphere, he the bombs. Thunderfoot exposing all of the shenanigans of the startup stuff. Oh, wonderful. I love you, Thunderfoot. You the man. So look into Sunny 5 and give us hope or crush us. We'd rather be crushed now and not hope that someday I could have down here in my house. Now what I want is the options. I want that rainy day and sunny day. I can create all kinds of conditions. I could take myself back in time. I could like program that thing like, okay, this is a memory from 3rd grade and the conditions were blah blah. Yep, okay, this is a 3rd grade playground and such an, okay, there we go. And then you get it like whenever you want it. Like that's what's coming. And then you can integrate that probably with a heating, cooling system and create whatever internal, whatever external conditions you wish to create outside of, well, maybe eventually, of course, even within your walls, maybe a sense of space. So you could stand in the middle of, well, you know. Anyway, it's all a piece. It's like, okay, let's just do this. Let's just let them speak. Hold on. There we go. Hold on. There we go. Let's get right here. Here we go. Okay, where are we at? Why are you doing this to me? Okay, there we go. Let's just put it here for right now. A window on the wall, full spectrum of natural light with UVB for your health, bright light for your depression. Bright light for your depression. Look at that. That is so beautiful, though. Isn't that cool? Look, through the application, you can not only make precise settings such as color, temperature, brightness. Okay, blah, 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 blah. I get it. We get it, you vape. All right, so there you go. Although it's not the first artificial window we've seen before, Sunny 5's offering does look particularly slick. It's also appealing at a time when much of the world is being forced to stay indoors to counter the spread of the coronavirus. For anyone with a poorly lit flat or apartment, being able to have just don't. I want to know if Sunny side, if I want to know the team Sunny side. Let's just do that. Let's just make sure that we're not targeting some folks that might not otherwise. Well, you have to have your keyboard. Hold on. Let me show you. Ooh. I got some text issues. I got some other issues there beside me. I got some more, that's so cool. All right. Now you get to see this. Look at this. This is an accident, I can assure you. Listen, folks. Pay no attention to the man behind the green screen cloth. Play and pay no attention to these folks. So, what are we looking for here? I've lost my train of thought. Here we go. Fake Windows Sunny side. So Sunny 5, we want to know Sunny 5. Sunny 5. Let's just get this. All right, Sunny 5. Samsung spin-off, Sunny 5. Look, don't you even have your own website, Sunny 5? This is suspicious. Press release. Samsung Electronics announces support for 5 new startups. That's May 18, 2020. One of them is Sunny 5. Okay, so Sunny 5 right now, ladies and gentlemen, Sunny 5 does not even have a website. It is Sunny. Let me just see. Hold on. I just want to do this. I'm going to go first. I'm going to try. Let's see. Let's just see, ladies and gentlemen, if we got something going on here. No. Okay. Here we go. Okay, hold on. We might be on to something here. We're doing some investigative reporting, folks. This is what you do, ladies and gentlemen. We're looking at Sunny 5. Samsung has spun off new projects from its C Lab, including, Samsung offers a component, okay. It has been responsible for everything for all of these ideas. And let's see, where was that Kickstarter mention hat here, ladies and gentlemen? Optical character recognition, don't really care. Sunny 5, meanwhile, looks at first glance like a window, albeit without much of a view to enjoy. In reality, though, it provides artificial sunlight mimicking the full spectrum, okay. In a real-world trial, an amount of vitamin D that would normally take an hour to synthesize through regular sunlight took place in 6 minutes while the subject was in the shower. See, that's the biggest claim that I'm really interested in. That's the biggest thing. If you get your vitamin D-age whatevers from this internal stuffage, this could be wonderful and huge. But I'm not seeing where it says. I thought it said in the Google search that I would find Kickstarter somewhere, and if I saw it and I skimmed through it, ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize for my ignorance. We got highlighter, text, window, boosting, vitamin D, Samsung employees opportunities to work on a side project. Okay, so this is news. Offers company employees. So these are companies' employees with the support to spin it out into a standalone startup if the idea has merit. So, and then it said some of the things that it's produced. Oh, here we go. Other ideas have been less outlandish, like a smart bell that tracks fitness, and which later launched in Kickstarter. And Samsung, okay, so this is not this thing. So this thing is not a Kickstarter. Okay, so then these are Samsung employees. So that's interesting. So that's what Sunny 5 is. So that's a little bit of a detailing hit. This device lets you shoot sanitizer at objects. Okay. Samsung backs an artificial smart window. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Okay, never mind. There's nothing in here about Kickstarter or anything. So you know what? I'm just going to leave this here. So I think I have some, I don't know. Let's see. I need to see more, but I made this a feature because I thought this is really fascinating, and it was also an opportunity, I thought, also to kind of say, hey, yeah, because I knew I was going to do, I didn't know exactly what I was going to do, but I knew I was going to be like, I'm definitely going to approach this in a more skeptical kind of, not skeptical, but a more like, okay, let's just. Because if they can deliver the vitamin Ds in and I'm going to say in any energy efficient way, leave you to decide what that might mean as far as how much you're willing to pay for that benefit. But if they can do that, this is a game changer in a lot of ways. It's also a game changer even for, I'm thinking, potentially indoor growing of plants. It might help hydroponics, and you can, I could see all kind. You could do stuff with this if this is much more faithful, and it can produce that vitamin D's in the way that they say. And so I say to Thunderfoot, get out ye forth. Get ye forth, Thunderfoot. Get ye forth, Thunderfoot. I call on Thunderfoot to go ye forth and investigate the Sunny 5's Give me the math sciences that says, oh, this is totally doable. This is, or immediately he'll be like, oh, I can understand. I can certainly understand the rule of actually, you believe in God too. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I'm very happy to have you on my show. Tell me about your Christian ways. But anyway, as I was saying, if you were a physicist or a mathematician with his barely noticeable salt, you would certainly understand that if you try to put one into the box, this is like putting a square into a circle, or whatever. I don't know why I can't get an English accent out of Thunderfoot in my head. I'm trying to reflect outwardly what I hear in my head, and all that's coming out is some sort of modified Hungarian English goon trying to sound proper. Just doesn't quite get there. Anyway, I tried. Thunderfoot, save us all. Save us all. Let us know if there is hope that this is possible. The light changes angles all over that's wonderful too. I would love to have this. I'm very, very interested in having something like this in my home. If I could, especially if I could program it for days like that I want to have when I want to have them. You know what? It's in the middle of winter and dark and whatever. You know what? Let's kind of create the whole summer vibe right now. Or maybe if it's the middle of summer, man, I kind of wish that winter kind of stuff light thingy. Could we just I want to kind of feel like I'm in the middle of a blizzard right now. Could we do that? Not like out in the blizzard, just like toasty in the home looking outside a blizzard, like that kind of blizzard. Could we do that? Could we get those effects? Because that's what I want. I want that kind of conditioning and responding and whatnot. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this feature. Coming up next is... Well, let me look here. Hold on. All right, so Talk Focus. The Talk Focus. And the Talk Focus for today is the medical case for physical gender could save women's lives. I think this is really, really interesting. So don't forget, folks, you need to tip your Freeqo. That's what you need to do. You need to go to Freeqo.com/tip, or you can just find this big old fatty button on the Freeqo.com site. Click on that and send me $1, $2, or $5 unless you're a gazillionaire. Subjectively speaking, I'll let you define what gazillionaire is. No, I don't mean the actual monetary whatever gazillions. So, be that as it may, ladies and gentlemen, I implore you to, if you're a gazillionaire, send me $1 gazillion and we'll call it square for a day, just for one day. And if you're not a gazillionaire, yeah. All right. Not bad, not bad. A little bit long, 16-ish minutes, and I'm thinking 12 to 15. Yes, I'm talking out loud to myself. Now I get ready for the last segment here. I got another one of these messages 13 minutes ago when I got my last message of 10% depletion of the quality of your life detected. That's what Streamlabs is pretty much telling me in its kind of passive-aggressive way. I mean, the way that it says it is, dropped frames detected, 10% over last 2 minutes. That was 13 minutes ago that I got that last message. And I read that as, your life is diminishing before your very eyes and there's nothing you can do about it but pray that you don't get another message. It's kind of how I read that. Alright, let's do this Talk Focus. Everything's fine. 1, 2, 3. This is the Talk Focus for Freeqo Talks the News on Wednesday, May 20th, 2020. My name is Freeqo of Freeqo.com. And our focus our top focus is the medical case for physical gender could save women's lives. Okay? The medical case for physical gender could save women's lives. Get that around your crown. Wrap yourself around that while you're wrapping yourself around that, figuring out the gymkata that you got to commit to be able to navigate those conflicting spheres, if you know what I'm talking about. And I know some of you do. Don't forget to tip your Freeqo. Go to Freeqo.com/tips and send me your money. And if you don't, that's okay. Keep listening. Keep watching and sharing and liking. Dang, microphone is popping out. Hold on. I do not like the sense of insecurity that this microphone is now operating within. At this present moment in time, I would suggest to you that this microphone is a vector of the human condition. But I'll continue. I'll soldier on. Even though at this present moment in time it's clear I'm going to have to wait until the break, which comes at the end of this segment. So none too soon. I got some other issues that I got to take care of. So we are pandemically defined by the circumstances, and we're soldiering on. Let's get to the actual story. The medical case for physical gender could save women's lives. Why does physical sex matter? Because physical health matters. Alison McGregor has written a book called Sex Matters: How Male-Centric Medicine Endangers Women's Health and What We Can Do About It. And she's right. She's right. God help her. This woman is right. And this book documents the ways in which women have experienced adverse medical outcomes because the nuances of differences between the aggregates of that's supposed to say male, son. It's male. Hold on. Oh, man. Never mind. Just pretend that's an L. Male and female physiognomies have not been considered in broad therapy considerations. The therapies that are not obviously exclusively male or female are tilted towards male parameters with little physiological female differences considered. McGregor seems to, you know what? That was the last Freeqo, the one that just got fired. He did this, not me. I will never have a mistake like this. This is why he was fired. There's 2 mistakes in one article. Terrible. McGregor seems to hope to bring to the medical community's attention this lack of concern for the physiological nuances between male and female at a time when the same people who might traditionally be her ally in this fight are also now, in aggregate, pushing for a decoupling of the whole notion of physiological differences between male and female altogether. Hey, this could get very interesting. I mean, I was tempted to put the Michael Jackson popcorn thing. Yeah. That's kind of what's going on here in my head. I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, isn't this going to be fun? Let me just sit back and kind of go ahead and watch these contrasts collide. And we'll see how this comes out. There's going to be some, dare I say it, I'm not taking any sides here. Turf wars. Oh, he didn't. He didn't say turf wars. He literally said turf wars. He's taunting. He's malevolently taunting the female. Or whatever. Excerpt from Science20.com. Drugs for different bodies. The female side of pharmaceuticals. This issue isn't talked about much, but it is widespread. In my book is Allison. This is Allison. Hold on, Allison. I'm going to deliver you into the imagination of the hearts and minds of the millions of people who are listening. I'm going to make you the heroine of the tale. I'm going to give you a heroic journey just with the sound of my voice alone, Allison. Everybody will remember your name. Allison McGregor. Allison. Hold on. Get on over here. No. We don't want to run a scan right now. All right, Allison. We're going to do something for you because it's important for me that I get this out here. Because you're doing God's work here. God's work. You don't even know it. Allison J. McGregor. Allison J. McGregor. Get you down to size. Get you somewhere. All right, let's just put you right. There we go. We'll put you right there. There we go. Oh, didn't have you quite right there, Allison. There we go. Allison McGregor. There we go. Sex matters. Allison J. McGregor. Drugs for different bodies. Oh, I already read that part. Oh, right. Here we go. Ready? All right, ladies and gentlemen. let's get ready. I gotta enter into the mold. Allison, I feel you. I'm not channeling anyone. I'm not doing anything hookah spook. I'm just trying to see what heuristic institutional confrontations I can stir up within me to have Allison within me emerge. All right, here we go. This issue isn't talked about much, but it is widespread. In my book, Sex Matters, How Male-Centric Medicine Endangers Women's Health and What We Can Do About It, I show that the average American adult takes 4 or more different prescriptions. Women are statistically more likely to be prescribed medications than men, and are more likely to have prescriptions from multiple providers who may or may not be aware of what other drugs the patient is taking, since most of this information is self-reported. Furthermore, women are more likely to have adverse reactions or interactions, since most drugs are tested primarily, or even exclusively, in men. In Maria Rosa's case, it's almost certain that her prescriptions, in combination, caused her ventricular tachycardia, and ultimate sudden cardiac death. Unfortunately, cases like hers happen often. Arrhythmia, when the heart does not beat normally, is often a direct result of drug interactions. When women's QT intervals, aka the resting time between a person's heartbeats, are affected by various prescription drugs, the results can range from simple arrhythmia to ventricular tachycardia, torsades de pontes, to asystole, flatline, and sudden cardiac death. The keys to understanding this deadly disparity lies in the QT interval. Men have shorter QT intervals than women. This is a result of the surge in testosterone that occurs during male puberty. In short, men's hearts need less time to recover between contractions, i.e. heartbeats, than women's do. Many prescription drugs, such as painkillers, anti-inflammatory drugs, steroids, sleep aids, antibiotics, antihistamines, and antidepressants, I'm sorry, I slipped out of myself there. Freeqo kind of took over there for a second. Let me finish, Freeqo, okay? Let Allison finish. I'm almost done. Have the effect of incrementally increasing a person's QT interval. Allison McGregor, I tip my fedora to you. Thank you. Thank you for making this obvious. The destruction of the notion of the physiological sexes is not only absurdly, dangerously, absurdly, stupidly, moronically, absurdly dumb, but it is physiologically, suicidally, life-threateningly dumb when it comes to affecting women. Just saying. Just saying. Work that out, kids. You guys work that out. How you battle that one. Go ahead. Have fun. I'm not waving into it. I'm not waging into it. I'm just pointing it out, folks. Just letting you know that floating out there. No sweat, no power. That's right. My bodysuit equipped with personalized AI buddies is coming one step closer with news of a new tech that could enable your body gears to be powered by your body sweats. And if you're new to the party, my little AI buddy thing, I'm going to have these little AI buddies. It's going to be like around my wrist of some sorts, and like probably 6 to 12 of these guys and gals and days, whatever I make them to be. I'll probably just be guys and days. I don't know. I might have a day or two. I'll probably have like 2 days, 5 gals, and 6 guys. Yes, that's probably what I would do. I would do that. If anyway, just playing. But I'm serious about the AI buddies and having the AI buddies on board and having this outer protective suit coating, invisible coating thing. You wear your clothes and everything over top of it, but it offers you, basically, you don't have to worry about the weather anymore. You can walk out into minus 200 degree weather and your suit's like, yo, God, I got this. Meanwhile, you also have a council of elders of the baddest, awesomest, smartest elders of awesomists, every single one of us. And see, this is, we sweat, and our body sweats, and little suit says, you know what? That's going to help my AI buddies. They need that juice. Here's an excerpt from dailymail.co.uk. Wearable devices powered by sweat instead of electrolytes. A new generation of wearable devices powered by human sweat instead of electrolyte and batteries could help reduce harmful electronic waste. Researchers in Scotland have developed a flexible supercapacitor made from an absorbent polyester cloth which wraps around the arm during exercise. Positive and negative ions in the wearer's sweat interact with the closed surface, creating a reaction that generates pure energy. Pure energy. The researchers claim the device can be fully charged with as little as 20 microlights, less than half a drop of perspiration. Meanwhile, working up a sweat could be enough to generate power for exercise monitors and other future electronic devices, including electric vehicles. Sweat power technology could replace conventional batteries, which have restricted portability and wearability due to issues such as overheating and being too big and not holding enough power for long enough, etc., 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 etc. We've reached the halfway point of the show, and coming up next is going to be the news poem. News poem of the day is Mr. Bell's Brain Organic Symphony, Sans Sentient Metronome. It'll all make sense, folks. It'll all make sense, but you'll have to hold on for that. Oh, I didn't do the switch to the thing. I didn't do the promotion of the websites today, and I'm thinking about how I'm going to integrate the other websites in. So I'm not going to do them for this show, but I'll probably return next Monday or sooner if I figure out a way. I don't really like the way that I've integrated promoting my other websites into this so far. So I got to think about that. I got work to do. I got to figure some stuff out. Work your stuff, dude. Do your facts. Do your facts. People who watch stuff that I watch will know what I'm talking about. And by the way, yeah, I'll just say that. Do your facts, dude. Do your facts. All right, with that, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I get I'm not going to say a well-earned break because, come on, I'm not really working hard here. But for me, within my space of comfort, such as it is, I would say, within my parameters of the works and the labors, a well-earned break. And I'll do a little outie-innie as far as the liquidations are concerned and come back healthier, happier, and smarter. I guarantee. Freaking and you know me, I'm all about certainty. I'm lying. be back. Back. Oh, man. What do I got going on here? I got another issue going on here with the... Why? Why have you abandoned me so? Why? How has this happened? You know, I just wonder, did I somehow... Hold on, let me go fix this. You know, I'm beginning to suspect that my little thing here, it's not staying straight put. Like it's somehow moving. Which, okay, that makes sense. I thought it was more secure, so without my touching it, my little, well, it doesn't matter. I fixed it, sort of. Let me just see real quick. Yeah. And probably... yeah, there we go. All right. All right, well, we solved the problem. There you go. Are you ready? Now, you know, what's interesting is I did not check my... I go through this whole process. And today I was like, oh, man, my video's always been fine. It's just sitting there. Why are you worried about it? I haven't had a problem with my video in days. I go away, set it, and like, oh, no, nothing to worry about. Everything checks. No adjustments to be made. I'm like, all right, I got this. I finally got the video thing figured out. And then one day, this somehow, maybe I probably well, anyway. Lesson learned. Don't do it. Don't take shortcuts. Be thorough, man. Be thorough. And on that front, here.
Warning, the material you're about to be exposed to is foreign to the minds of individuals who are limited in their capacity to understand the actual reality of power around them, just as you and everyone else alive currently are. What you're about to hear are opinions, suppositions, like gospel or scientific proofs, not infallible certainties. Brace yourself for incoming opinions that could confirm or deny your preferential view of the reality of power. Brace yourself for fallible material, fallible opinions, and values reflected, but nonetheless variably firmly held. We do not apologize to anyone in FM. We do not apologize for daring to express our views and impressions about what we believe is and what we hope to see. We will keep talking so long as we are able.
And now, Freeqo attempts to talk about the news without freaking out.
That's the plan, ladies and gentlemen. That is always the plan. I don't know if I should... There you go. I should tilt that up like that. Is that the more... all the time, and all right, so I had an issue with the microphone there, and finally figured it out. So that whole part was not able to go out. I can see now because of issues. I'm going to have to change how I have this thing connected. So let's just get to the news poem for the day. Get this on over here. We'll begin recording in 3, 2, 1. Oh, hold on. Here's a news poem for the day for Freeqo Talks the News on Wednesday, May 20th, 2020. I am Freeqo with Freeqo.com. And our news poem for today, Mr. Bell's Brain Organic Symphony. Sans Sentient Metronome. That's supposed to be Organoid Symphony. I didn't change it there, did I? That's unfortunate. All right. News first, poem follows. And this is not Google. This is... Let's see what this is. Discover Magazine. All right, I want to make sure I get the right credit here. That should say Discover Magazine. Normally I share that, I change that, but I missed that one. What it's like to grow a mini brain from your own cells. It isn't every day that writer Philip Ball is asked to contribute to scientific experiments. Typically, he's reporting on them instead, but in 2015, scientists from a London-based project called Created Out of Mind asked Ball and a few other creatives if they'd participate in their work and then reflect on the experience. He agreed. Ball first gave a sample made up of cells from his skin, which was reprogrammed into stem cells that were subsequently grown into a brain organoid, or, as the research team called it, a miniature brain in a dish. These futuristic-sounding specimens aren't literal brains, and they don't look it either. The round, cream-colored clusters of neurons simply resemble little blobs. They're not conscious, or so you say, but they can be studied to better understand brain development, such as where and when certain proteins misfold, which can signal whether a person will develop dementia. One day, out of the blue, and this is now Mr. Bell writing here, or Mr. Bell writing here. One day, out of the blue, one of the project leaders dropped me an email with photos and said, "Look, here's your mini brain." And there it was. I'd wish there was some drama to it, but the researchers were pretty casual about it because they grow these things all the time. And I wish I could say that I remember thinking, "Oh my God, this is my second brain." But I think I was more relieved than anything that it actually grew into an organoid. The fact that they actually got one, that they had these really clear, discernible structures in it was pretty remarkable. If anything, I felt a little bit proud of myself that we actually created something in the end. A little me, a mini me. Oh. For me, one of the really interesting things I gleaned from the project was that the stuff we are made from is incredibly versatile. The technology of transforming cells from virtually any other tissue in the body is relatively new, and it's leading to all sorts of directions in medicine and research. You ain't kidding. I was fascinated to see firsthand what extraordinary things cells, even mature adult cells, are capable of. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for the poem. You know what? I'm going to switch. I think this is more fitting for this right now. Here we go. Mr. Bell's Brain Organic Symphony, Sans Sentient Metronome. For me, it was an engine. I put in the piston stork and the machina was doused in sentience. The strands of bright are the dendritic sacrifices laying down causeways for the proteins to aspire through. Aspirants. Daily ticking the count. Mr. Ball, today we grimly respond. Grief. The body's toil is a frenetic reimagining of the very thought. Brainlet. Mr. Ball, brainlet aspired. What? Come see, quick! Mr. Ball's brainlet had a thought. I do not like the dark. I mouthed the words my brainlet aspired. Thought, I do not like the dark. The machina torqued with the after effect of response. Brain organoid. Out of the sea, rancid angels took hold the dendritic fierce, the fierce. Where the energy became the terrible teeth we drew on cave walls, hiding from the thunder. I do not like the dark, the mannequin said, in a manner of speaking. Brain and dish dialect, I do not fold the sea into the metaphor. Rather, I am become that sprawl, though ooze, those sticky forms on the plastic disc. Brain in tow, undertow. The body drags itself drowned in the imagined end of brain organoid. Mr. Bell's Brain Organic Symphony, Sans Sentient Metronome. Oh boy. I am dendritically surfed and particularly pondered, and yeah, I got one more segment left. And that segment is the dialectical. Well, and the dialectical is where Islam promotes libertarianism, the Somaliland Declaration. Let's see how that turns out. I am really bothered that I didn't change the scene on that one, because this was hardly how I wanted this freaking thing to be displayed. Very agitated at myself right now, I'm not gonna lie to you. This should have been done. This poem part should have been done here. Darn it. That looks so much better, doesn't it? No, I did the whole thing. I'm not gonna repeat it. So I'm gonna push through, do the freaking dialectical intro, end the show. I'm so disappointed. That's such a man. Just whatever. Alright, come on. Alright. Let's get ready to record this last segment. I'll try and cheer up. Cheer up, Freeqo. It's alright. I might freak out not because of the news, but because of just two bad mistakes. The audio issue, which I didn't realize until well into it, there was an audio issue. And then, man, that poem was screwed up. The visualization of it was. So let's see if we can end on a high note. Let's see if we can get a good recording here, folks, for the dialectical, and we make it through the other side and get our notch that says 10 shows. That's what we're after, right? That's what I'm after. 3, 2, 1. And this is the Dialectical for Freeqo Talks the News on Wednesday, May 20th, 2020. I am Freeqo with Freeqo.com, and our Dialectical today is Where Islam Promotes Libertarianism, the Somaliland Declaration. But first, don't forget to go to Freeqo.com and look for the subscribe button. Enter your email, hit subscribe, and join the fun. We have 79 subs right now. Come be one of them, and then you won't miss anything. You won't miss the links and the loves and all the Freeqos all the time, because that's what you want. Yes, repeat after me. I want you to, if you're watching this and you're listening, I want you to repeat after me. I'm going to say, I want Freeqo all the days, all the times. Say that with me. I want Freeqo. I want Freeqo all the days, all the days, all the time, all the time. That's what we do. And if you've said all that, then you might as well go and subscribe. That's simple. It's simple math, ladies and gentlemen. This is scientificalisms at its finest. This is the mathematical proportion that defines the human excellence right here. It tells you the only choice you have is to subscribe. Otherwise, you're not decent. I think that's how it works. I'm trying it out. Seeing if I can push it into my own thing. Here's the Dialectical. Where Islam Promotes Libertarianism, the Somaliland Declaration. So I often talk on this website and show about not being afraid of just about any tool. Rather, what I fear are the ways that individuals choose to use these tools. And I can also say the same thing about ideas, beliefs, which for me are forms of tools themselves. Vehicles of power that perceptively enable individuals to satisfy their preferences. And this is why I have little fear about the rise of Islam in America, or the rise of atheism, or whatever belief system you may or may not fear spreading in these American lands. The ideas in and of themselves, be they Islam as a way of life, or Christianity, be it social justice or classical liberalism. Just the ideas, All of these are just simple vehicles of power. And when I speak of Islam, Christianity, social justice, classic liberalism, the basic archetypal structures of these systems, of which the directions that you can go within those structures, they're pretty infinite and varied. So, as I continue, granted, some beliefs might have more non-consensual assumptions built in them than others, but on the main, most belief systems, including the ones that I mentioned all above, and atheism isn't a belief system. I'm not saying that it's a belief system in and of itself. I'm not going to go down that road, but you can say it is or not. I don't care. But on the main, most belief systems have a vast array of variations that run the gamut from liberal to authoritarian, to an assumption that individuals should be able to direct their own lives, to an assumption that individuals should be micromanaged for the good of the whole, in some degrees in betweens and whatnots. Somaliland is a region I follow closely, as they are a separatist movement. They're seeking to separate from Somalia. They would say, well, we're not seeking to. We've already done that. They kind of de facto have. That is seeking to move their governance models away from the more coercive ones and towards consensual models, though imperfectly at best, at least so far. Like, I've seen at least one journalist that was arrested there under very dubious uses or reasons that one could consider a violation. I'm not sure. Anyway, they're definitely got some flaws in their systems, I'll say. But on the main, they're still much further along towards at least attempting to move towards this consensual model than almost anywhere else in the world. So they're kind of cutting edge still in that regard. Somaliland is attempting, in many, at least by my understanding, which could be wrong, but I think it's probably right. Somaliland is attempting in many ways to preserve their centuries-old traditions of governance that have little to no reliance, coercion, enforcement, punishment in general, and that's a complicated system. One of these days I should do like maybe a Monday, maybe one of the Monday dialecticals will be just covering, and this is one of the reasons why I feel good about their chances to continue to evolve towards consensual models and away from the more non-consensual. It's because of their very unique centuries-old kind of traditions, these tribal, for various reasons which I don't quite understand. I'll have to look into more to understand how and why this consensuality emerged, but from them, they see a direct connection. They derive their traditions of individual stewardship, my phraseology, not theirs, not from Christ, not from Jefferson, but in large part, they'll say, from Allah. And this is not an endorsement of Islam. I am a Christian. I believe Christ is Lord. I proclaim no other God but Christ. And I'm sure they feel the same way about Allah. Christ is just a prophet to them. But still, this is rather a check on what your assumptions could be about the nature of Islam. And if I translate that, the nature of tools in general, because Islam Islam is a tool. Christianity is a tool. Social justice is a tool. All of they are tools that enable us to operate in the world in what we imagine is a more effective way, a way that enables us to more easily, more fully, depending on where we're at as far as what levels of preferences we're able to satisfy now and how hard that is, to what enables us to satisfy our preferences. So here, Allah has given these people vehicles of power that produce consensual exchange. And I know of there's at least two people that I have had some degree of in one case, I think one was physical, I'm not sure, I believe so. But pretty some degree of high level of verbal interaction, I'll say, at the very least. Both these folks are on Facebook. I think I met the one in person, but they're libertarian Muslims. And there's a lot of history of Islam that's not all the same. There's a lot of what you would call liberal strains of Islam. And they've been around since almost maybe 100 or so at most years after Muhammad died. You could see strains of these things. So it's again, the tool itself is the basic structure that a belief in Allah, in that particular type of nature of Godhead creation that bounds you in your actions, that it may uniquely serve your circumstances. And the structure, most of these fundamental structures have wide girth for interpretation, to bend toward, to use the structures to create consensual exchange or non-consensual or cooperative exchange in various degrees. And so the point here is, through this Somaliland declaration here, is to illustrate this to you folks. Don't become factional. Even my fellow Christians, don't become anti-Muslim. You have no reason to be anti-Muslim. Proclaim your truth, Christ is Lord. You can do that without being anti-Muslim. You don't need to assume because it's Muslim, because it's people practicing Islamic things, that somehow that means that they can't fundamentally exist in a Bill of Rights community. Some of these Muslims know far more about these constitutional standards of governance, if you will, and why such standards might pragmatically be useful within these course of enterprise governance models as far as how it benefits we poors, but they'll know more about that than you do. You'd be surprised. So that's why I thought this was important. An important point to make, and if you extrapolate it out, it's even the technologies that you fear. There's very few technology. I'm not going to say there's not a technology. If you can come up with some bizarre what if, okay, that's a bad technology. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that doesn't ever exist. The tool in and of itself might be a problem. But I'm not going to, I can't even think of one offhand, but that's how I feel about belief systems. It's very rarely, unless your belief system is, I must fundamentally murder everyone around me If you have that belief system, okay, I'm not even worried about that belief system. If the next sentence is, and I can do it, then I have a problem. But if the next sentence is, and I can't do it, so I'll have to vicariously do it through others, or just like play video games and kill people in video games, then I'm like, okay, I'm still not going to let you around my kids though. Okay, and let's hear what they say. I think it's very important to note what they start with. Somaliland Sun. This is who posted this. Today marks the 29th, and this is though from the Somaliland group. This is what they personally posted. Today marks the 29th anniversary of the day the restoration of independence of Somaliland was declared in Buaro by delegates representing all the regions of Somaliland. The objective and goal for establishing a separate sovereign state were to found a state appreciated by all and which is founded on equality and justice, as enshrined in the Constitution of Somaliland. According to the Constitution, the statehood established by the people of Somaliland is built on the following principles: Islamic Sharia, conclusions from various consultants. By the way, Islamic Sharia is just Islamic law, and within, I'm going to say, liberal Islamic structures, their law is very liberal. And there's a lot of our quote-unquote founding fathers that knew this about some of these scholars during I don't know, when were they, maybe the 10th, 11th, something like that, centuries. I might have my centuries wrong, where a lot of this type of scholarship really flourished, where they were actually really seriously asking the questions that Americans would be asking. The question of governance, as far as how you govern and respect the sanctity of the individual. They were Islamists. This was their primary concern. Whole bunch of them did all kinds of stuff none of us ever really sees. I don't really know much about it. I've seen some stuff. I've seen enough to know that it's real. It's not, I didn't just take the word of, and I can't recall stuff, remembering these guys' names. No. But I spent a season where I looked into some of the stuff, and there it is. Life is so much more complex than you imagine it is, and we always focus on the outer trappings of these vehicles of power, rather than the innate structure of whatever vehicle it is, regardless of the outer skin. The outer skin is like a NASCAR skin. You put whatever sponsor you want over it. Underneath is what counts, and underneath it doesn't matter whether you're using the name of Allah. If you're using the name of Allah, I'm not going to say everybody that uses the name of Allah should die. Even if you're using the name of Allah to threaten to murder me. I'm going to say your system, the problem with your system isn't that you invoke the name of Allah. The problem with your system is that you assume that you have a right to kill people just because you believe that you are the moral supremacist, and that gives you license to kill. It doesn't matter what reason it is. And there are so many reasons that we take those positions. And the fundamental problem is the moral supremacist authority that we give ourselves to murder our neighbors. It really doesn't matter. The tool is my morality is the tool essentially is, I believe in a structure where Allah created the universe under these parameters, under these guides, this type of life that we live to be good people. It gives me structure or whatever, all that. The particulars as to what that means as far as giving you the ability to assume governance over others. See, that's where almost every basic belief system has the capacity, no matter what it might overwhelmingly suggest it might be, whether it's overwhelmingly consensual in nature or coercive in nature. Any group of people can take that very system and turn it into a structure. If it's a consensual structure primarily, they can turn it into a coercive one. It's about the intent. It's the individuals that are using the tool. Do you understand? The individuals that use the tool. If you have a coercive heart, you produce a coercive Islam. If you have a coercive heart, you produce a coercive Christianity. If you have a coercive heart, you produce a coercive SJW. See what I mean? A coercive heart fundamentally is a heart that assumes that moral supremacism alone is enough for me to assume that I could grant others or take the action myself, or most likely, though, I could grant others the quote-unquote right to murder my neighbors for violating my moral assumptions, even if those violations don't directly harm or threaten to directly, and I mean directly, harm others. And that's what we're talking about. So they start off and they say right away, Islamic Sharia, conclusions from various consultations, separation of powers of the state as between the legislative, executive, and judiciary, the decentralization of the administration of the government, guarantees of property rights and the protection of the free market, sanctity of human life through the entrenchment of fundamental rights and individual freedoms, peaceful and proper coexistence with the states of the region and worldwide. We recognize the sacrifices of the people of Somaliland making strength and peace, stability, coexistence, and improvement of life, and the huge achievements made which attracted well-deserved international praise. We also believe that it is imperative to examine if the government of Somaliland is functioning in accordance with the will and the goal of people as stipulated in the constitutional principles of equality, justice, democracy, checks and balances, and protections of freedoms and human rights. The delegates who declared the independence of Somaliland on 18th May 1991 and the people who voted for the Constitution in 2001 agreed the government to be free from the deadly diseases including clanism, favoritism, nepotism, and polarization. They also agreed on the protection of freedom of expression, equal participation in politics, and civil rights. Now, like I said, these guys are not perfectly executing their plan as of course, because coercive hearts are amongst us all the time. So wherever there are coercive hearts, there will be coercive outcomes. Coercive structures emerge around the coercive hearts, and the more your system innately favors coerciveness, the quicker your system will devolve towards more and more centrally satisfying the most successful of the coercive in nature. And in the case of Somaliland, I think that they have a lot of fundamental structures built up within them that keeps them in a place where I would say if I could move to Somaliland, maybe I would consider it. I would consider changing my life and becoming a Somalilander if I had a choice. That might be the one. Yeah, in terms of governance that's closer towards consensuality, I would probably pick Rojava, but Rojava is perilous right now. So in terms of my ability to live a physically comfortable life, no to Rojava. Somaliland, I will have to investigate more, but it could very well be Somaliland might be where people might emigrate to eventually. Somaliland, but they do have some issues because they have some inner. I believe that they have some connections either with or both China and Turkey. And if I were a citizen of Somaliland, I can most assure you I'd be lobbying to get those two people out of the country and keep the Americans out too. I'd keep everyone out, and let's try to we're not going to keep everyone out, but we're not going to allow anyone to take over our ports. That would be the biggest thing. Nobody's going to own our stuff. We're going to do it our way. We're not going to give our stuff over to colonizers. Anyway, Somaliland, if you're listening, I'm still I love my country, America. I'm not looking to move to Somalia. I'm just kidding. But if I had to pick another country that I would emigrate to, if I had to, if America really, really became what I think it might become soon, you'd be on my short list, Somalia. Oh, Somaliland. No, Somalia, the other way. Somalia, no. I wouldn't want to be in Somalia. And I go to Somaliland, man, I'm taking all. If I don't have guns, which of course I don't because I'm decent, but I would get them and bring them with me if I was going to Somaliland. We're like, militia, whatever, I'm in, man. Somaliland, oh yeah, because Somalia wants us back, and that's the one existential threat to Somaliland is Somalia. And we'll see if the powers that outside of us decide to use Somalia as a vehicle to reabsorb Somaliland into their fold. So that's the one danger. Anyway, I think I'm going to leave it at that. That is the last segment of the show. We'll see you here tomorrow, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or when you see the first thing, which is up on bitshoot.com/Freeqo, Freeqo. You can watch these segments, and on youtube.com, actionbatza, ACTIUNEBAZA. And we do live stream on the YouTube channel as well as the D-Live channel. I'm not sure how well the live stream is working. I'm going to end this now. Oh, I never even changed the scene again. It just got trapped in the thing. I did not do well. So that means once again I missed the freaking image that I had planned. Dang it. Well, this was, I'm not sure. You know what I tell you where this all snowballed for me on this show was when I got on and the screen, I made the mistake. Never had a problem. Haven't had a problem in maybe 2 weeks where I do my video and my video is fine. And then that's where it started. Then that distracted me and then I got all. So this is where my pursuit of the stoic is seen demonstrated as a fail, because in truth I was not able to escape the vortex of tension that further contributed to my mind deciding to step out of its duty of keeping me focused on the shifts that I fully intended on operating within this show. So I failed. But I really like the segments in between just fine. It's just little things like Anyway, I've got a ways to go to be the greatest show of all time, and I only have a week and a half to do it. I have 7 shows. By the end of the 7th show, I need to be the greatest podcast of all time. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I'd say I took a step back. And it was a necessary step back, because I was getting a little bit cocky in how things were really smoothly coming together. And I realized that I must be diligent. I must be ever diligent in everything I do, micromanage my own life every way that I can to achieve the goal of being the greatest podcast of all time. And with that, I don't know. Talking about no ending. Let's talk about an ending. How are we going to end this show? How about we just go to the this part right here? Right, you see me here? I'll tell you what, why don't we do this? The humane thing to do, because I earned this. Interestingly enough, the reason that I earned this was not because of the stories themselves, because of my own performance, because I did not freak out at the utter failure of my own performance. Now, when I say utter failure, I only mean in the technical craps. I'm very happy with my performance otherwise. I enjoyed doing the show on the main other than that, but I like sharing the inner conversation with the studio audience, so to speak, especially right now during coronavirus, because I think it's going to be interesting, really, really cool for me to listen to later. And I'm hoping that you're at least enjoying the psychotic elements of the show, where you watch a human being deconstruct themselves on a live stream, and yet come back the next day happy and healthy and wise, and fundamentally not done in by the constructs which demand conceit to failure. That's what you do. You stop or you go. And when you wake up, you say, well, press the button, and you go. And I think I'll end it there. Thank you very much for watching the show. We'll be back tomorrow, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I got some stuff for you guys. Oh, I got some nice stuff. Tomorrow's going to be probably, I'm going to bet right here, it's going to be remembered as one of the best shows that I have ever done. It's going to be it'll probably be the best show that I've ever done. It feels like everything's coming together for that kind of synthesis tomorrow. Tomorrow, tune in, because you're about ready to watch. This isn't going to be the greatest podcast show of all time, but it's probably going to be in the history of podcasts, probably number 3 or 4. Like, I feel like it's going to be like that. Not saying the next shows after that will be that high, because I'll probably take a couple steps back tomorrow on the Friday show, maybe the Monday show. I'll probably hit my peak around next Thursday or Friday, take a step back. But then that following Monday, the day of excellence, I'll call it, that's when everything comes together, and it's just a variation of excellence is what it is. and that's where we're headed, folks. So strap your butts to your seats and hold on, because we got a hell of a ride ahead of us. We'll see you tomorrow, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll leave you with this.
Thank you for engaging with this material presented. As usual, remember your views, your suppositions do not make you subhuman, nor do they permit you to subhumanize others. No humans were harmed in the making of the show, and we extend no wish of harm to anyone who hasn't directly harmed or threatened to harm others first, no matter how reprehensible we find your views.
We will see you in the next Freeqo Talks, where Freeqo attempts to talk about news without freaking out.